I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
Oh, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. Get more with Geico.
Lowe's knows how to get you ready for holiday hosting with up to 35% off select home decor. And get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, members get free delivery, haul away, basic installation, parts, and a 2-year Lowe's protection plan when you spend $2,500 or more on select LG major appliances. Valid through 10/1. Member offer excludes Massachusetts, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Jersey, and Florida. Installed by independent contractors. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for more details.
The True Crime Society podcast contains adult themes and violence and is not intended for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. And if you'd like to skip the intro or move to any specific part of the podcast, please refer to the timestamps listed in the episode description. Thank you. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the True Crime Society podcast with Stephanie and Olivia. It is September 18th right now. It's a Thursday. I don't even know what day it is because, as we all know, I just had a baby. He's 5 weeks old today. Just still been surviving in the cycle of them sleeping, eating.
Yeah.
Of him sleeping and eating.
What I think it was like, what is it called? Wake, play, sleep, or something like that. Like that was just what your life is. Yeah.
Yeah, he loves like waking up very promptly 2 hours and 50 minutes at night because the doctor was like, okay, like he can sleep. You don't have to wake him up to feed him anymore. But he's like 2 hours, 50 minutes on the dot. I'm getting up. But then last night he actually slept for 2 full like 4-hour sessions, which felt like a luxury. I was like, I actually like woke up and I was like, is he okay? I was like, I have this fear of like SIDS. I'm like, is he breathing?
It's so weird the first time they actually sleep through the night. Like you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, what's happened? Did something happen?
Yeah, you're like, something's wrong. So yeah, that was nice. But it was really only because yesterday he was just like a fussy crab all day and didn't really sleep much. So at least he slept at night. So I got to sleep a little. But it's been great. It's been fun. We're at the stage where I guess they get like a little more colicky and gassy because their digestive system is still figuring out how to work. So I was just telling you on our chat that his new routine is he'll be sleeping. I wake him up to change him, to rile him up, to get him to eat his bottle. So I change him, he eats his bottle, do the whole burping routine. And literally when we're 75% done with this bottle, or like right after we finish, you just hear like a huge, the most aggressive, smelly poo ever. And I'm like, ugh. So then I try to sit him up so he digests. So I'll try to sit him up for a little, but then he just like continues to poo and it smells so bad. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to leave him in his poo for too long. So then I go change him. And then since I just fed him, he's laying flat. So then he's spitting up. It's like always such a fucking disaster lately. So
I guess their bodies are so little that when you put food in, like there's nowhere really, like it has to also come out very quickly because there's so little room in there.
Yeah. So it's like as soon as we put new food in, the old food's coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm also just struggling with like buying him, which everyone told me. They're like, don't buy too much stuff in advance because you never know what they're going to like what's going to fit them right, what's going to work best for you. And I didn't buy like too much stuff in advance because of people telling me that. But even with he was in preemie clothes. Now he's kind of in newborn clothes. Like newborn and 0 to 3 are so close. So he fits in newborn weight wise because the weight goes up to like 9 pounds and he was like 7 pounds, 11 ounces. But the length for newborn clothes is like 21.5 and he's 22 inches. But he's like still too small weight wise for the next size up. So I'm like, this is all so annoying because I'm like, I just got him all these newborn clothes, but I'm like, he's literally basically almost doesn't fit in them.
And because
And
so
same
many of
with,
them
like,
are
diapers
onesies.
and things like that.
If they're too long for the onesie type thing, and then they're like their legs are too cramped, you're like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
Yeah, that's
no
how it is.
stretching room.
Because I've been liking to put him in just like the little footy zipper things because it's just like quick and easy and it's not like we're leaving the house. But his toes are like at the edge, so I was considering just like cutting the toe part so that I
Yeah,
could
that's
just
a
pull
good
them up
idea.
and have them be footless. Like I've seen people do that.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, ugh, these babies. It's such like a waste. Or one day they're like not feeling good, so you buy all this stuff to like help them with gas or whatever. But then it's like by the time the stuff comes, they're feeling better, and you're like, I don't even need any of this stuff.
I remember when I would like clean out my daughter's wardrobes and there'd be so much stuff that still had tags on it that I'd bought and I just never got a chance to wear either because, you don't go anywhere or the weather's wrong or they grew too quickly or whatever.
That's too, the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got him a bunch of sleepers because then all of a sudden his like preemie stuff wasn't fitting him. So then they came and I'm like, I don't even know how long these are going to fit him. He might already be in the next size up. So I only took the tags off and washed like half of them and I kept the tags on the other half. So I'm like, all right, I'll return these. We'll see how long these last.
I feel like too, you get your favorites, like the ones that are easy to put on, the ones that wash well, like a soft and things like that. Whereas you might buy things that are cute, but then you just realize that you're never going to use them for whatever reason.
Yeah. So it's just like always a spiral. I don't know. It's just always something.
Did you want to talk in this one? I don't know if we ended up doing it or not about how Peeper's reacting because I think did we forget to do that last time?
Yeah. Speaking of, we did a longer baby episode on Patreon. If anyone's interested in hearing about the whole birth experience, because some people did want to know. I didn't just assume people wanted to know. People
One
asked.
person actually said they joined Patreon just for the birth story because they love a good birth story.
That's nice. Yeah, I wasn't just like, so I know everyone wants to know. People asked. But I forgot to talk about what my cats thought about Jack, the baby, especially Peep. Everyone's been dying to know. Honestly, I kind of forgot about it because it's really nothing crazy. Peep, they'll give him a sniff like here and there. Freshbutt is a little scared of him. Like whenever he cries, it's kind of cute because Freshbutt gets like worried when he cries, but worried isn't he like comes over and he starts like looking, trying to see if like everything's okay. He starts meowing. And I try to tell him, it's okay, Freshbutt. We always joke because whenever I'm upset or something, or someone's upset or someone doesn't feel good, Freshbutt always has to come over and we're like, he's Dr. Freshbutt. He's here. Peep, she just acts like he doesn't exist. She gives him a random like sniff here and there, but she'll literally, if I'm holding him in my lap, she'll literally try to like walk across him just to like get to me. So she mostly just is like, what is that that's in my way?
At least he'll be unbothered by cats, like because my kids have always grown up around dogs too, like because we have always had Labradors, so big dogs, but like I know other kids sometimes are a little bit scared, but my kids are just like unbothered by dogs because they've always grown up around them. So we're the same with cats.
That's how me and my sister were too. Like we always had a big German Shepherd dog, so we were never really scared of dogs growing up. But yeah, the cats they love laying in his bassinets, his loungers, his anything. We even had one of those. It's actually what you and Kelly and Marissa got me, the like bouncer lounger thing.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, it's like the Ergo baby like bouncer. It's the same as like the baby Bjorn one, but less exorbitantly expensive than that one. It's something that you would not think cats would go in, but Freshbutt squeezes his fat ass body right on it, and I'm like, he's gonna break it or slingshot himself out of it. Like
I feel like
the turkeys are here.
I'm like generalizing probably, but the same with Donnie. We have this IKEA chair, and it's kind of one that is like that. It's like on wooden legs. It's like almost like it's not a rocker, but it rocks a tiny bit when you get in it. And Donnie gets on it and it looks like the most uncomfortable thing, but he loves it. I don't know if it's because of the movement or what, I don't know, but
yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't even have expected him to try to go in it, but he loves it to the point where I'm like, I need to flip it over so he stops going in it. But yeah, that is all. I know I've just said a lot.
One thing just to add, because we're talking about animals, but I feel like also like we haven't had an episode that's come out very soon after we recorded. So this chat will all be current when it comes out next week, which we haven't done for a while because we've had this backlog.
I know, that's why I'm like, I have so much to say.
I know, so much chat. But so we had to take Donnie to the vet yesterday. He's got a hotspot. For anyone, I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's like a very common thing that dogs, or
Yeah.
I think especially Labradors get. It's like basically a sore on his skin, and it would look at
And then they keep licking it.
yeah, well, it's for him. Thankfully, it's on his neck, which is random. Like,
Oh, good.
I won't get into the whole background of it, but he was playing with another dog, and the other dog kept licking him, and I think that's how he got this hot spot. Anyway, so we rang the vet yesterday, and I'm like, oh, can we just come and get some antibiotics? And they're like, oh no, you need to bring him in, and I'm like, okay, fair enough. And they're like, what's your dog's full name? And I was saying, it's so weird when you actually have to say their full name. Like, I'm like Donald Mackenzie. I'm like, that is so weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's like he's an actual he's a living being, but to have a full name is so weird for them.
And then I think it's even funnier though when if you have to go to a real pharmacy to pick up their medication. So you go to CVS where they
I've never
mostly
had to do
deal
that.
with. Oh, really?
I don't think
They
that's a
mostly
thing
deal
here.
with people.
Mm.
Yeah, sometimes if it's like a antibiotic or something that like the vet doesn't have, you can go to CVS to get it filled. So you have to be like, oh, it's for Fresh Butt Summer. Like Peep Summer, where you say like summer and then you're like Fresh Butt, and then they're like, oh, it's for a pet.
Wow, old dog Ralph, he used to have Valium because he hated storms and fireworks and things like that. So we would always get the Valium from the vet. But like one lady said, well, do you know that it's way cheaper just to get it from the chemist? And I'm like, oh, I didn't even like it. So anyway, long story short, we've always gotten it from the vet, but maybe some things you can get from the chemist.
It's just some housekeeping notes before we get into it. A lot of people have messaged us asking if we're going to do an episode about David, I guess, is the singer. I feel so old and stupid because I have no idea who this is.
It's so funny because I actually
like 2 million followers.
I said to my daughter this morning, I'm like, are you sure his name's David? Because it's D the number 4 VD. And I'm like, are you sure it's pronounced David? She's like, yes. Because I'm like, I'm going to talk about it in the podcast. But
and people love to correct us. So
yeah. So apparently it's David. I'm pretty sure that's right. I'm sure his name is actually David, but he just spells it.
I said it's like Dead Mouse, how Dead Mouse spells it with a 5. But yeah, I have no idea who this is. I could possibly know a song of his. No idea.
He does a song with
Never
Kid
heard of
Laroi.
him in my life.
I actually meant to have a look yesterday because someone's like, I only know him because of the song he did with Kid Laroi. I do know who Kid Laroi is. I have never heard of this person until all this has happened. Yeah, I've never felt so old. Like it's happened. I'm old.
Yeah, so a lot of people have been messaging us asking if we're going to do an episode on him. If you don't know, I'm sure that this case will progress by the time this episode comes out because it seems like there's a lot of updates coming out. Basically, he is a famous artist, very
Singer.
famous. I mean, he has 2 million followers, singer. His Tesla was abandoned and got impounded. And then the impound yard noticed a weird smell coming from it. And they looked in the car and there was a dead body in the trunk in a bag. I'm not sure. Some things say dismembered.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's confirmed yet or not, or if that's true. But in a bag, definitely. And then it turns out that the body belongs to this girl who went missing in January 2024?
No, she went missing in 2020. Oh, yeah, sorry, 2024.
December
I'm not sure
2023?
No. I think it was early 2024 that I've seen. I don't know. Anyway, either way, it's like early-ish 2024 or late 2023.
Yeah, we're just going off the top of our heads right now.
Yeah. When she was 13 years old too. Her name was Celeste, but yeah, she was 13 when she went missing then. So she was super young and she's been missing for like nearly at least 18 months.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And it turns out it's her. And then they have been finding like TMZ has been posting a lot that it does seem like her and him, like they have some pictures together. He's 20 or
he's 20.
Would he have been 20?
So he is 20 now. So he may have been around 18, maybe 17, 18 when they met. Like there's stuff with them going back as far as 2022. So I'm not sure of the exact dates, but essentially she would be 15 now if she was still alive. So then 3 years ago, so young, like 12 years old, which what is a 17 or 18-year-old doing with a 12-year-old? They had things like they have the same tattoo on their fingers. It says shh.
Which is sketchy because it's like shh because she's 13.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's actually, so as we mentioned, her name was Celeste. There's actually a song where he sings about Celeste. So it's a lot. Like when I first heard about this case, I'm like, oh, maybe something's just happened. Like someone's crawled into the car and not been able to get out and has died. Like there's been cases that have happened like that before, but it really does seem, obviously, if she was found in a bag, like we don't know if she was dismembered. Maybe she was put in the bag and because of, don't want to get too graphic, but decomposition, maybe it's kind of broken down and it wasn't in its entirety. But either way, someone's put her in there in a bag. I don't think she put herself in the bag in the car. So he hasn't been charged yet. Just today they've said they're searching his house. He has cancelled the rest of his tour. It's a very interesting case. We're just waiting to see what happens, but we will probably record on that in our next recording session.
Yeah. So all this to say, we are going to do an episode on it.
Yeah. I feel like everyone is into it. Like it does, especially now that they've identified the girl. Because when it was the body found, you're like, oh, okay, well, the car was abandoned. Maybe someone just stole the car and died in there of an overdose or something like that. But it doesn't seem like that is what has happened.
Yeah, it's very weird. Before we get into the rest of the episode, we have a quick word from our sponsor, Quince. Fall is in full swing, and it's the perfect time to refresh your wardrobe with pieces that feel as good as they look. Luckily, Quince makes it easy to look polished, stay warm, and save big without compromising on quality. I have a few pieces from Quince. One of my favorites is the Mongolian cashmere crew neck sweater. I actually got it last year, and I've worn it so many times, but it's really perfect for fall. You can layer it really easily. It's super light, but very warm at the same time. It's great for those days where it's still kind of warm during the day, then it gets chilly at night. It's just like the perfect weight for keeping you a comfortable temperature.
Quince has all the elevated essentials for fall. Think 100% Mongolian cashmere from $50, washable silk tops and skirts, and perfectly tailored denim, all at prices that feel too good to be true. It's the kind of wardrobe upgrade that feels smart, stylish, and effortless. Keep it classic and cozy this fall with long-lasting staples from Quince. Go to quince.com/TCS for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/TCS to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/TCS. Yeah, so what we are going to do with this episode actually today is we're going to do it a little bit differently. We haven't done a split episode for a while, as in a two-parter. We are going to make this episode in two parts. There is a lot of information, just jumping ahead a little bit. We are going to be speaking about the disappearance of Hayden Manis. So Hayden was around 5 years old when he went missing in 2019 or 2020, and he wasn't reported missing for years and years. We have covered other cases like this, like Harmony Montgomery is one, Oakley Carlson is another one that we've covered. But there is a lot of information in this case. When I first started, I'm like, I feel like it's one that's kind of gone under the radar a little bit. It is in the media. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of information, but there are a lot of people involved and a lot of people have spoken about the case. So it's going to be a massive episode. So we thought what we'll do is we'll split it into two parts because some people have said they prefer that with our longer ones just to make it easier to listen to. So we'll do that with this one, and the second part will come out next week, and then we'll be back to recording kind of weekly, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Not to ruin it for anyone. I don't want anyone to get their hopes up, but this case is still unsolved. So
yeah, and
just know that.
Yeah, it's only, well, when I say it's a very current case. Hayden, I don't want to get ahead again, but he was only reported missing at the end of last year, even though he's been missing for years and years. So it is ongoing, and as of the time of recording, and release, which will be September and October 2025, he is still missing. We'll have to update if anything does happen, but I don't think anything will, and we'll go into the reasons why.
Yeah.
A boy disappeared, and his family hasn't seen him for more than 5 years. This is Hayden Manis. My coworker Bob Siegel broke this story and started investigating what happened to Hayden.
When's the last time you saw Hayden?
Christmas Eve, 2019, at our family gathering.
He was getting presents. He was excited. That was the last time.
Here's what Bob discovered. When Hayden was 1 year old, the state took him away from his parents after they failed drug testing. In 2018, Hayden's dad regained custody. Family members say they saw him occasionally, but then in 2019, that ended because of a falling out. The family says it wasn't until a conversation in 2024 when they realized something was wrong. So they reached out to police, and police started a missing persons investigation. Hayden's dad reportedly lied to investigators and then died of an overdose before he could tell them what really happened to the boy.
Where's Hayden? Nobody can come up with Hayden.
Where's Hayden Manis?
That's the question we ask ourselves every day.
Okay, so we'll start from the start. So like Olivia was just saying, Hayden Manis was around 5 years old when he went missing from his home in Muncie, Indiana, in either 2019 or 2020. Again, there's differing stories because it happened so long ago. He wasn't reported missing for 4 or 5 years, so a lot of differing stories because a lot of people involved probably don't exactly remember what was happening at that time.
Yeah, it just always blows my mind that a child can be missing for so long. Like now he would be around 9 or 10, it's how has no one noticed that he's not in school, do you know what I mean? All these different things. It just always blows my mind, and it's how easily some kids can slip through the cracks.
Yeah, I feel like it can only really happen, and you only really see it happen in situations like this where there's
Yeah.
like drugs involved, or the people are kind of cagey to begin with, aren't
A lot
close
of
with their families.
Yeah, I was just going to say broken families where like one parent has custody, so it's easy to kind of easier to tell lies and stories about where the child could be.
Yeah. And just to give credit to the news agency, WTHR.com/13 investigates, they did a lot of research and articles on this case. They have some really comprehensive coverage. So a lot of our research and quotes are taken from their articles, and everything is linked on the blog, as it always is. We've been sharing a lot of their stories on our Instagram as well. So if you want to learn more, that's a good source. Okay, so Hayden was born on May 18th, 2015 to his parents, Dustin Manis and Terry Williams. And the couple lost custody of Hayden when he was just 1 year old in 2016. And this happened because they were charged with some drug-related offenses. Reports indicate that both parents were drug tested and tested positive for cocaine. Dustin had also been found in a motel room with Hayden at one point, and there was heroin and drug paraphernalia laying around. So it's not great.
No.
So the Department of Child Services, or DCS in Indiana, removed Hayden from the care of his parents and placed him in the custody of his paternal grandfather named Gary Manis. Dustin's mother was Leanna Newby, and she was no longer in a relationship with Gary, so she's really not in the picture, just if anyone was wondering who the grandmother was.
I feel like too, it is, I know I'm generalizing again, but often they try and place the child with a maternal figure, like a mother, a grandmother, something like that. So that is why people might be questioning why he was placed with the grandfather. That seems to be why. It seems like they were pretty estranged from Leanna.
Yeah, it seems like she wasn't involved. Even Hayden's own mother isn't really involved much in the story.
Mm-hmm.
So just so you don't have to think about them too much.
Yeah. And because there are a lot of names, so just to try and
disregard them.
yeah. Or minimize. But I feel like it's important to tell the whole story and know the whole family tree, but there's a lot of people who kind of were very distant.
Yeah. So Gary, the grandfather, and Hayden grew close, and Hayden calls grandfather Papa, or Pawpaw, more so. Gary said that Hayden was a good kid who never gave him any trouble. Gary said all he ever wanted to do was just be with me no matter what I was doing. Working on the car, he wanted to do that. Fixing something around the house, he wanted to be right beside me. He also said that he loved trying to skateboard. In 2018, Dustin, the father, completed his court-ordered probation and drug rehab. He petitioned to the court to get custody of Hayden. And according to Gary, Terry was reportedly in prison at the time on drug charges. So Gary, the grandfather, begged the court to be able to keep Hayden with him. He said he completely disagreed with officials' decision to return the child to Dustin, noting his history of drug use. Gary told 13 News, he's a drug addict, I told them. I begged them not to give him back. Wasn't my choice. Wouldn't even let me speak in court. He, Dustin, did what they required of him, and they gave Hayden back. So that's sad.
Yeah. Just even when he spoke about how Hayden wanted to be with him while he was fixing the car, just all he wanted to be was loved and looked after and wanted by someone. It's horrible.
Hayden's great aunt Barbara Phillips had a different, more optimistic view of the situation. She said he had already done everything that they asked him to do. He was not with Hayden's mother when he got custody back, so I thought, okay, maybe he's on the mend and everything's all right. She also said, he is so sweet and good with children. Never in a million years would you think he put a hand on any child, let alone his own son. The court rejected Gary's plea and awarded custody back to Dustin. DCS did not object. At this point, Hayden was almost 3 years old. So he's sad also because he's been with the grandfather for a long time, who clearly probably treated him better than Dustin, and now he's going back to his shithead dad.
Yeah. And even now it's at a point where he would be more kind of able to recognize this, his situation. As a baby or, a toddler, it's probably harder. But so he lived with the grandfather from when he was about 1 to 3, and then he was given back to Dustin. So that's at quite a pivotal point in their lives where they become, more aware of the world, and it's just more able to communicate. It's a sad time for him.
Yeah, and it just pisses me off because granted, Dustin wasn't a great person and probably had no critical thinking skills, But in a lot of stories like this, where I'm just like, I wish the parent would think, instead of it being like their ego and pride of being like, they just want custody of their kid, so it doesn't look like they don't have custody of their kid. But it's like, really think about, do you really, a recovering in quotes drug addict, want to be taking care of a 3-year-old basically on your own, or like with your girlfriend or whatever? And I think these people don't realize, like, a 3-year-old, that's a lot of work. They're not like a little newborn that just is going to sleep. Granted, newborns are a lot to deal with as well in a different way, but like a 3-year-old, they're up, they're moving about, they're busy, they got things to do.
Yeah.
Like, I just wish these people would think and be like, do I really, this child is better off not in my care.
Is this the best thing for the child, or is this just what I want?
But this is why they're not good parents. Well, one of the reasons. So family members have said that they saw Dustin and Hayden regularly between 2018 and 2019. In May 2019, Dustin's mother, Leanne, passed away at the age of 48. Some reports indicate that Gary and Dustin possibly had a fight around this time, which meant that Gary did not see Hayden as regularly as he previously had. The last time any family member saw Hayden was on Christmas Eve 2019. His great aunt Barbara said that Hayden was a happy little boy at the time. Gary said that he enjoyed opening his gifts and was his typical self. Gary said, typical Hayden running back and forth from a grandparent to me, to his aunt, to great-grandparents, back to his aunt, and to his uncle. I noticed nothing wrong, nothing at all. His Aunt Shelley said that he just ran from person to person and played and laughed. His Aunt Taylor said that his father was there with him, and that was the last time. After this, Dustin's family kept inviting him and Hayden to family events, but neither ever showed up. One of his aunts said, we wanted him to know we wanted them there. We wanted to be part of their lives. We'd say, can you and Hayden come have dinner with us? And he would respond with, we'll try, I'll try. Everything's fine. We're okay. Hayden's fine. We'll try to make it. But we never did get to see him. He never came to anything. During 2020, Dustin lived with a woman named Crystal Hall. They lived in a house in Muncie with Hayden, Crystal's 2 daughters, and her father, Paul. The house was owned by Paul. So basically, Crystal's new girlfriend and Paul is her father. And Paul owns the house that they were living in.
Just to insert some more people, but these people are quite important in the story. They were probably some of the last ones to see Hayden alive. But yeah, just to clarify, they're not immediate family. It was basically Dustin's girlfriend and her family.
Yeah. So the other people you can mostly forget about, besides they give commentary, but they're not really involved as much.
No, their last involvement was they confirmed that he was alive at Christmas 2019, and that was the last time any of the actual blood relation family saw him, apart from Dustin.
Yeah. So now Paul will be the one giving a lot of information. He steps in as new grandpa, which is the girlfriend's father.
Yeah.
So Paul told the media in July 2025, Dustin and Hayden actually did live on my property. Hayden actually called me Mr. Grandpa while he was there. I babysat him several times. He was a pretty smiley guy. He did have some, what I would call, behavioral challenges, to where, there were times where he wouldn't respect authority, but other than that, he seemed like a normal, adjusted little boy. I'm also like, he's a toddler. Yeah. What do you mean? Like, he is not respecting authority?
Well, in 2020, he would have been around 5-ish, so 4 or 5. So yeah, like a little bit older, but still, yeah, what kid always respects authority and does exactly what you tell them? I don't think any child in the world always does that.
Yeah. Paul told the media that he had given Hayden a guitar for Christmas in 2020. He said, that's something that we were going to start doing, is show him how to play the guitar. But before he could start giving Hayden lessons, Paul said Hayden was no longer living at his house. When he hadn't seen Hayden for a noticeable period of time, Paul said he asked Dustin where the boy was. This is a quote from him. I'd asked, hey, where's Hayden? Because I hadn't seen him for a week or two, and I wanted to see about giving him those lessons. And that's when I was told that the mom had a DNA test and that Hayden went with his mom. We heard the story now that, Child Services was the ones that did that. That is not the story I got. I only got that a DNA test was done and that Dustin wasn't the father and that Hayden went to live with his mother.
And this is what I was referring to earlier, when it's broken families, there's kind of all these stories that you can tell because no one has contact with the other side of the family to verify, or collaborate any of these stories. So this is what you can tell where this is going and what Dustin started to do at this point.
Yeah. And just to add, there was no question about Hayden's paternity. That was all just made up. Dustin signed an affidavit of paternity when Hayden was born in 2015. And a Blackford County judge determined in 2018 that Dustin was Hayden's natural father when he granted Dustin primary custody of his son. So that was all just a lie to make an excuse for why Hayden suddenly disappeared.
Yeah.
By 2021, Dustin moved from Muncie, and he basically stopped responding to any text and communication attempts from his family. So there are some messages that came out from one of the aunts, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they're
Barbara.
actual screenshots of text messages. So it's not just quotes. She said they've actually provided screenshots, which I'll put on the blog. But yeah, screenshots of their communications.
So in August 2021, Aunt Barbara messaged Dustin, said, "Dustin, I am worried to death. No one ever hears from you. Can you please just let me know you're okay? I love you, bub." Then later that day, Dustin responded and said, "I'm good. I promise I moved out of town. There's a lot of typos. We got our own place now and doing really good." And she said just something like, "Oh, thank you. So happy to hear from you." That one gets cut off, but it's her just being like, "Love you so much." Then December 6, 2021, so a couple months later, she messaged him again, says, "Okay, I'm telling you early so you can try and make plans. We're doing just dinner, no presents at Aunt Shelley's house, Christmas Eve at 1. Can you please make arrangements and try to come, as we would like to see all your kids too. Love you." He said, "I promise I'll try. Love you too." And she put some heart smiley emojis, said, "Please, please try hard." And he said, "I promise I will." Then fast forward to May 18th, 2023. These are the last messages. Well, this is the last message that Aunt Barbara got from him. She messaged him, doesn't say the date on that one. I'm assuming
It was prior to May 18th. I feel like it was probably at some point in early
Around then.
2023. Yeah.
So she had said, "Bub, you think you could talk to me? I miss you both terribly, and I would just like to see you guys. I won't tell anyone else in the family if you don't want." Then she said on May 18th, "I don't care when you get this message, just let me know you're okay and if we can meet so I can see you." So on May 18th at 11 p.m., Dustin answered and said, "Hey, Aunt Barb, I promise on everything all is well. I promise you just been having a lot going on. Try to work on my family that I am making and whatnot. I appreciate you reaching out and checking, but I am just doing what I promised my mom I'd do when she was on her deathbed, and that was look out for what makes me happy and doing whatever it may be to keep myself happy. I'm doing good and I'm doing right, and I'm working on making the family I've always wanted." And there's not one period or comma in that.
It's very poorly written. A lot of errors and things like that. But also what I find interesting is there's absolutely no mention either of Hayden in that message. Like, we are fine. It's all I'm doing this. I want the family.
I'm like,
I wanted.
Making the family that you've always wanted by removing someone from it. Okay.
Yeah.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Lowe's knows how to help make your home holiday ready for less. Get Select Style Selections vinyl flooring for just $1.99 per square foot and have it installed before the festivities begin. Our team can help you every step of the way. See a Lowe's Red Vest associate or visit Lowe's.com/holiday install to get started. Lowe's, we help, you save. Basic install only. Date restrictions apply. Subject to availability. Installed by independent contractors. See associate for details. Contiguous U.S. only.
Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondersight comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed. Lab-proven to work fast. And proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wonderside's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wonderside.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wonderside.com. Wonderside. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wonderside today.
So according to WTHR.com, Dustin told the family at one point that Hayden had been taken by DCS and given back to Terry, who was his biological mother. They didn't question the story because, as we mentioned, DCS had previously removed Hayden from Dustin's custody after police found Dustin and Hayden in a motel room filled with drugs. So this kind of all seemed plausible. Like, we don't know exactly what was said, but he could have said, something along those lines of, they found out what I was doing and they gave him back to Terry. It's not something that would be so totally out of the ordinary that they wouldn't believe it could have happened. All right, so as we mentioned, Dustin kind of last spoke to his aunt in later 2023. In the fall of 2024, so around over a year later, Hayden's two great-grandmothers had a chance meeting. While they were discussing Dustin and Hayden, they realized that they had both been given different stories. One of the women thought that Hayden was with Dustin, and the other one had been told that Hayden was with Terry, the biological mother.
Really, what are the chances of two great-grandmothers meeting?
And they were from different sides of the family. Like, one, I believe, was, anyway, yeah. Like, they had it was just literally a chance meeting.
Thank God.
Shelley, the aunt, spoke about the meeting between the grandmothers. She said she, as in one of the women, went straight home and called Gary and said something is off, something's not right. Gary then told the media she sounded worried, like something didn't sound right, so I went to CPS the next day. One of the women went to Paul's home, as in Dustin's girlfriend's father, just as a reminder, where they had been living.
New grandfather.
Yeah. And left a note on his door asking him to contact them. Paul said, that's the first time I knew that something was wrong with Hayden. When I hung up the phone with that grandma, I had a couple of minutes where I was just like, oh shit, because I had a sinking feeling in my gut. Police were contacted and they tracked Dustin down, and he gave them the version of the story where he said that Hayden was with Terry. He said that CPS had taken Hayden from him in 2022. Obviously, this was easily proven to be false by detectives. They had access to records. Nothing like this had ever happened. The Delaware County prosecutor, Eric Hoffman, said no, this was disproven quite easily and quite quickly. So at the time, and as the investigation went on, we knew that was a lie. Shelley, the aunt, said, where's Hayden? No one can come up with Hayden. The last person who was responsible for him, Dustin, could not provide any information about where he was. And that's when we realized, I think, and she kind of trails off, that they obviously realized something was wrong. The Delaware County Sheriff's Office released this statement after Hayden was reported missing. It says, on or about September 5th, 2024, the Delaware County Sheriff's Office was made aware of a missing juvenile case. Since that time, we have worked diligently to investigate all leads, execute multiple search warrants, and conduct numerous interviews. We are working closely with the Delaware County prosecutor and remain committed to pursuing every avenue of the investigation. Our goal is to bring resolution to the case. We appreciate the continued support from the community and encourage anyone with information to come forward. And then they just list their contact details. So that is kind of a confirmed date, September 5th, 2024. That's when he was reported missing. It was over a year since Dustin's last contact with any of his family. 4 years since Hayden at least 4 years since Hayden had been seen by anyone in his family. In September 2024, authorities went and searched Paul's home. He told the media, I signed a waiver allowing them to have access to anything and everything that they needed. They went under the house. They went into the attic. I was just hoping and praying, that they could actually find out what had happened. Paul has said that he was also questioned extensively by police. He said investigators took evidence from the house, including, quote, a section of the floor out of the master closet from the side of the house where Hayden had lived. So the house, I guess, how he's described it is it was broken almost into two, and Crystal and Dustin and Hayden and her daughters had one part and he lived in another part. So basically they weren't living in the same area, so he didn't apparently know what was going on in their section. Okay, so I think this is kind of a little bit convoluted, but I'm pretty sure Paul is quoting this in regards to what the investigator asked him.
Yeah,
he says,
that's what I think.
Yeah, he says, what do you think this means with us asking for this? And, I remember answering him. I think that means you guys think something might have happened to him in my house. So basically the investigator was asking Paul, why do you think we're searching your house? And that was his answer. Paul said he cooperated fully with investigators. He said, I was absolutely sick and mortified because I just knew deep down that something really bad had happened here. Despite all of this, a few months after the house was searched, Paul sold the home and he moved to Nevada with Crystal and the family. By this point, Dustin and Crystal were no longer dating. Dustin stayed behind. Crystal and the family moved to Nevada. Paul has said that the move coincided with the family getting some inheritance money and that they had planned to relocate long before they learned that Hayden was missing, which, I don't know, timing seems a bit fishy to me. As soon as they find out that something may have happened in the house, they pack up and leave. But apparently it was all planned, and that isn't the case.
I'm sure it'd be pretty easy to find out if there was talks of it before, if it was like kind of planned, hopefully.
Yeah. So we think it's a little bit fishy. Many people online have also questioned the timing of the move. Paul responded to that, and he said there's Facebook posts saying that it had something to do with it. There is absolutely not even a millionth of 1% chance that that happened. It's complete bullshit. It's ugly and it's horrible. I've done nothing wrong.
I also feel like Paul has been talking to the media a lot and seems to be talking to investigators a lot, where even if the move is a little suspicious, I don't think it's like he's running away. It doesn't really seem like that to me. Maybe trying to give Crystal some distance from what's going on, but I don't think Paul's like...
The only...
I feel if anything, he was just... ignorance is bliss, maybe.
Yeah, I do agree. The only case that makes me think it's a little bit different is the one of Lily and Jack that we covered recently, where the stepfather basically won't shut up about it, Daniel Martel. And they still haven't been found either. So, like, I don't know, like, I feel like sometimes people over-insert themselves into cases to try and prove their innocence or to try and, do you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to look at me if I'm totally forthcoming.
Paul.
Yeah, I feel like Paul absolutely knew more about the living situation
and that comes out a little more.
Yeah, but maybe he doesn't know exactly what happened. I don't know. So anyway, they moved. In November 2024, Dustin was pulled over for a traffic violation and he was found to have both meth and heroin on him. There is body cam footage of the incident that's been released, and this summary of that is from WTHR.com. The officer asked, "Nothing illegal on you? Dustin, is there anything illegal inside your car?" And Dustin says in a high-pitched voice that sounds different from his usual voice, no, not at all. The officer then inquired about specific drugs, including meth, marijuana, and heroin. Dustin said he didn't have any of them, but when the officer asked if he could look in the vehicle, Dustin said that he preferred to not have the car searched. The officer said, "I'm pretty sure there's something in that car that you don't want me to find. I stopped you for a traffic infraction and your stress level is way up here." Then Dustin gave the officer a story about why he was apparently so nervous. He said, "I just literally got questioned about my son being missing and whatnot, so I'm just upset about that." He also then admitted that there might be a little bit of methamphetamine residue in the vehicle. Upon further questioning, Dustin acknowledged that he had a previous arrest for drug possession and that he had smoked meth the day before. He again told the officer there was only residue or some drug crumbles inside the car. They called another officer. That officer brought a drug-sniffing dog. Dustin appeared even more nervous at this point. He was shaking. He was trying not to cry. The officer said, "I've never had anyone break down and cry over crumbles." Dustin said, "It's my grandmother's car. I don't want to get in trouble for having anything in there." So as the dogs started to search the vehicle, they found meth and they arrested Dustin and began to search his clothing. He then admitted to having heroin and a syringe in his pocket. So a big mess. I feel like it's just not surprising, obviously. I feel like drugs are a big factor in why all this has happened. Yeah. So he was jailed for a few weeks before one of his grandmothers bailed him out. So this was in November 2024 when he was arrested. After he was released, 4 days after that, which was December 15th, 2024, Dustin died from a drug overdose. So I had a look to see if there was an obituary or anything for him. Literally, it's one of the most basic ones. It says Dustin Manis, 33, of Muncie, Indiana, passed away December 15th, and then it just says where he is at the Cremation Society of Indiana. So when police began investigating Hayden's whereabouts, they found that there was a possible sighting of him in August 2020 at the Newcastle Sports Park. So just to recap, immediate family saw him Christmas 2019. He was confirmed to apparently have been alive August 2020. Witnesses said that Hayden, Dustin, Crystal, and her father Paul were watching a go-kart race. Paul was questioned about this. He confirmed that Hayden had been there. He told 13 News that he was watching his oldest granddaughter participate in the race. He said that there was nothing unusual about Hayden's appearance or behavior and that he was there. Investigators did check records and they discovered that Paul's granddaughter did race at the park on August 30, 2020. So that still means, though, that 4 years passed before the grandmothers recognised and realised that Hayden was missing and he was reported missing.
Yeah. And I didn't say because I didn't want to like interrupt, so I'll just interrupt now. I was so surprised that Dustin died because I didn't really know anything about the story until I was just like reading our notes and learning as we went along, and we got to the point where it was like Dustin died from a drug overdose. I was like,
I know, all of a sudden,
I was like, wait, what?
And also 4 days after he was released from jail,
yeah, it all seems suspicious.
Yeah. So Delaware County Sheriff Chief Deputy Jeff Stanley told the media, "We think he actually went missing sometime in 2020, but so far we have not been able to pinpoint an actual date." Prosecutor Eric Hoffman said to say that this has complicated the case, I believe this is in terms of both Dustin dying and Hayden not being reported for years.
Yeah, what a mess.
To say that this has complicated the case is an understatement. To get the call in 2024 that you've not seen a child since 2020 is a huge hurdle. He went on to say, just because Dustin is dead does not mean the investigation is dead. We're still going forward, and he believes that other people know what happened to Hayden. A reporter asked the prosecutor, how can a little boy just disappeared and no one knows where he is or what happened to him? How is something like this possible? And the prosecutor said there are very few ways that it's possible. An adult can disappear. They can go to a foreign country. They can go to Vegas on a bender for a week. Kids aren't like that. Kids Hayden's age just don't go somewhere. A child can only go missing in very few ways, none of which are voluntary. So even though Terry seems to have had very little to do with Hayden while he was alive and before he disappeared, after she learned that he was missing, she made a post on social media. She said, "I never thought I would have to make a post like this, but if anyone has any information on the whereabouts of my son Hayden, please contact me or the Delaware County Police Department. The last known location I have for him is in Muncie, Indiana. I am begging anyone that knows anything about Hayden to please come forward." It reminds me so much of this case of the Harmony Montgomery case. She was in the custody of her father, Adam, and then after Harmony disappeared, Crystal, the mother, kind of exact same circumstances. She'd had very little to do with Harmony, but kind of reinserted herself in the case, and she ended up getting like a payout of millions of dollars after for a wrongful death suit against the state. So it's just sad that, you know, Terry in life, for whatever reasons, didn't have anything to do with Hayden. Maybe she was unable to. Obviously, she was in prison for a while. Sounds like she had drug issues as well. But no one really cared about Hayden until it was too late.
It's just sad, yeah. It does seem like with these stories, it's like a formula almost that they follow.
Yeah, it's like almost like just like some authors of their books I read, you know what's going to happen because they follow the exact same pattern every book, and it's the same with this. Custody given to an incompetent parent for whatever reason. I don't know. I know that Gary said that he never wanted Dustin to get custody back, but then if you were so worried about your grandson, wouldn't it be something that you would be on top of and you'd be, you know, trying to, I don't know. I know there's reasons. Like Dustin obviously could have withheld he did. He said that no one could see Hayden for whatever reason. It's just sad that no one really cared enough to check on him or to actually confirm his whereabouts for years and years.
Mm-hmm. And I guess why wouldn't they believe that he was with the mom? Like, you don't want to believe that something had happened to him, that he died. So I guess that was kind of just their way out of being like, oh yeah, the DNA test, like he's with his mom.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we are going to end the episode here today. Next week, we will be back with the investigation into Hayden's disappearance. It seems like authorities have a half idea about what's happened to him. So we'll get into that and the investigation to date. As we mentioned, as of the time of recording, Hayden is still missing, but we thought this was the point where we should end the episode and pick it up again next week, just because there's so many people involved, so much going on in a case where this child was missing for years before anyone realized and reported it.
So everything will be on the blog, all of our sources and all that, truecrimesocietyblog.com. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at True Crime Society. We're posting lots of updates there. So if there are any updates in this case, they'll be posted there first. You you want to see what we're up to, my account is StephSum_, Olivia's TCS Olivia. Check us out on Instagram. Patreon, we're on there if you want more content from us. We do weekly bonus episodes. We do every episode without ads, ad-free. I also did, like I said, like my birth episode. We did some Ask Me Anything type episodes on there. So just lots going on Patreon. So check us out over there. And just the usual stuff. Leave us some nice Spotify comments. We like to see what you guys have to say. If you could share the podcast to your Instagram stories, that's a big help to us. And we like to see what you guys are up to while you're listening to the podcast. Love seeing you guys walk your dogs and whatever hobbies you have. Love to reshare them. So keep that up. And I think that's really it. So thank you guys for listening. Stay safe out there. Peace out.